Still working. Yeah, it is. In the red, but it seems to be working. Okay. Did manage to get the replay working with a couple of. Well, it keeps playing, doesn't stop. I don't know if that's good. And I don't know if that's maybe. Well, right now I've just looped it, but I mean, I could stop it. It does need, jeez, there's so much refactoring to be done. I think the next one is Win32 platform layer cleanup. And I think at the same time, I'll clean up the X11. Well, my platform layer code as well.
All right, so let's take a look at what happens here when we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and just set a breakpoint inside that keyboard handler, basically, just so we can see what happens. So here we go. I'm going to run the game. I'm going to hit the L key to start recording. We're going to take a look here at our Win32 state structure, which basically should be just completely cleared to 0, which it is. Again, I always like 0 to be initialization, so you just don't have to worry about initializing stuff. You just clear it to 0 and you know that it's good. All right. We step in. We say, all right, it's time to begin recording. So we're going to go ahead and set the recording index to whatever slot we're recording into. We're going to go ahead and try and create a file. We created the file. Off we go. We pop out of here, blah, blah, blah. Nothing particularly interesting going on there. We go through our code, and we get down to the point where we've done all of our input processing. We say, are we recording? We are recording, so we step in here. We take a look at this write file. It looks like we're writing to a valid handle. We're writing out the input thing. Everyone is happy. We wrote 600 bytes. Is that how big our input is for a frame? We can check. Size of game input, 600 bytes. That's exactly what it should be. Everyone's happy.
You can skip ahead.
We're playing back our input. I don't know if it's actually working properly. It doesn't look like it recorded the jump, so I think we're still a little bit buggy, but at least it worked slightly. So let's go ahead and take a look at what.
Okay, I can see that he's put it on a loop as well. So I think the loop's fine.
What I messed up, because I think we're almost there. So, all right. So when we do our recording, we are supposed to be writing write file. We're supposed to be writing this every time with our Win32 record input, and then when we do our playback, we are What did I type? How did this happen? This is what happens when you explain stuff when you're trying to do it. You become an awful programmer, everyone. I promise you I'm not as bad at programming as I appear to be on this stream. Like, if you actually look at this stream, everyone's going to not want to hire me. They're going to be like, you're the worst programmer. Like, why would this how did this get in here? This is totally wrong. Yeah, okay. So anyway, basically what we did is if read file succeeded, we then started looping. That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, we only want to start looping when the read file is finished. I mean, that's kind of obvious, right? And read file, if I'm not mistaken, returns a bool. So it's going to be true when it worked, right? Yeah. If the function fails or is complete synchronous or 0. And I assume... I don't actually know, but I assume when it runs out of bytes, it will return false. Let's see. I don't actually know. I assume it will return false when it can't read all the bytes that you asked for, but I don't actually know. But what I do know is we could check for bytes read. So either way. So what we basically want to do is say, okay, if it read properly, note this is... there's still input, or here we've hit the end of the stream, go back to the beginning. So that was just fantastic. I mean, that is, high quality craftsmanship right there. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So I'm going to go down here and try that again. So we hit the L key for looping. We come down here, we hit that. I'm go walk back down here, and then I hit L. Hey, look, we just wrote input recording in 10 minutes. So
it took me 6 hours. Just he knows what he's doing, so it's a lot more faster.
I mean, all right. I will point out that there was an entire company devoted to doing nothing but input recording at one point. They failed. It was called Replay something. I don't remember what it was. But basically, if you architect your code right, input recording and playback is literally like 10 minutes or 20 minutes of work. You just watched me do it while explaining it, actually, and it took only that amount of time. So it takes even less if you're not trying to do that stuff. Totally trivial. So the only question we have left is, how do we loop the state of the game, right? We got to loop the state of the game as well, because there's all this state that was set up at the beginning, and we need that to be true. Well, hey, guess what? Yes, this is going to mean our files end up being particularly big. That is true, right? If you look in the data directory, our foo.htmi for the input recording is pretty tiny right now, right?
Hey, Taras, how you doing?
But if we wanna just say, well, we want the whole game state saved, well, guess what, people? I again architected this because I had a bunch of stuff that I knew would be good when we got there, and this is one of them. We virtual alloc the entire memory for the game in one block that has a known base address. Right? So if we want to restore the entire state of the game to exactly what it was at any point in time, all we need to do is save or load that block. That's it. It's like 2 lines of code. No serialization layer. No big, long walking change of things, trying to figure out what's the state and what's not the state. No, nothing. We know that if the game saw it, it was in here. And we also know that even if the game put pointers in there, they'll still be valid because we load it always at the same base address. So we don't even have to care. It doesn't matter. The game could do whatever it wants. It does not matter what the game does. As long as the game does it in here, it'll work, right? So all I have to do now is when we do this game memory structure now just has to be part of this guy, right, of Win382 state, so that we can save and load it. So basically, if I just go in here and do something like this.
Let me watch that again.
I mean, that is, high quality craftsmanship right there. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, right? So if we want to restore, there's all this state that was set up at the beginning, and we need that to be true. Well, hey, guess what? Yes, this is going to mean our files end up being particularly big. That is true, right? If you look in the data directory, our foo.htmi for the input recording is pretty tiny right now, right? But if we wanna just say, well, we want the whole game state saved, well, guess what, people? I again architected this because I had a bunch of stuff that I knew would be good when we got there, and this is one of them. We virtual alloc the entire memory for the game in one block that has a known base address. Right? So if we want to restore the entire state of the game to exactly what it was at any point in time, all we need to do is save or load that block. That's it. It's like 2 lines of code. No serialization layer. No big, long walking change of things, trying to figure out what's the state and what's not the state. No, nothing. We know that if the game saw it, it was in here. And we also know that even if the game put pointers in there, they'll still be valid because we load it always at the same base address. So we don't even have to care. It doesn't matter. The game could do whatever it wants. It does not matter what the game does. As long as the game does it in here, it'll work, right? So all I have to do now is when we do this game memory structure now just has to be part of this guy, right, of Win382 state, so that we can save and load it. So basically, if I just go in here and do something like this, so that the game memory's in there now, right? And then I say that the game memory is actually something off the Win382 state, like this, right? And I could actually, maybe I'll do it this way just for a little bit. Game memory. Okay. All right, so basically what I'll do is I'll go through here and just change this to a pointer. Again, needless busy work because C actually did the dot and pointer syntax annoyingly, right? So now that should be set up in there properly, and there shouldn't be any difference. So if I run this, I should just get the same old game, working the same way that it was before. No problems, right? Just what we would expect. And then what I can do is I can go, all right, so now when we begin or end recording, right? Basically now what I know, because of the way that I did this thing, I'm going to put that total size member in here as well. In fact, I guess, to be fair, I really didn't need to do the thing I just did with the game memory. That was probably premature. Let's back that up for a minute. Let's just back that up for 1 second, because I realized that's actually, I don't even really need to do that. That was just a wasted code edit. That was just dumb, right? I don't need to do that at all. All I actually needed to do was make it so this one virtual alloc was actually tracked. So basically, this void star game memory block, right? This thing, that just needs to do that, right? I just need to remember where that was. So basically what will happen is these will be off the Win32 state now. The game memory block will be off the Win32 game memory block, like that. And same thing here, Win32 state, total size. So those two things will work that way now, right? Win32 state, total size. And that now gives us what we need in our Win32 state structure to basically go up here and do exactly what I wanted to do, which is when we begin input playback and begin recording, it will now actually just restore the state. So when I do the begin recording input, when we open this file handle, I'm immediately going to just do a full-on blast write, this thing here, write file, like that. I'm just going to go ahead and do a full-on blast write of the entire game state, just everything that there is, in one call. One simple, basic call. Now there is one caveat to it, which is because Windows doesn't actually allow 64-bit writes. If total size is actually greater than a 32-bit, so if it's more than 4 gigs, this won't work. We'll have to write a for loop that, you know, loops over it. So I'm going to put an assertion in here just so if we ever get to that point, remember to come fix this and put a for loop in there. But that's just because Windows doesn't do that for us. So we're going to assert that total size is basically less than this value right here. Just because we know we can't actually pass that ff. We know we can't pass a value that's that big. So I'm going to assert that that's true. I'm going to write out basically that entire size here, right? I'm going to have another one of these dummy bytes written things that we don't care about, because again, this is total debug code. No user will ever touch this code, or if they do, they're on their own. And then I will just pass the memory, right? Game memory block. There we go. So that's it. And the opposite is exactly true as well. So we'll just go in here and do the read file. So we basically have when we begin the input playback, when it does that file handle, we're going to again do the assertion, but then we're just going to do a read file on the playback handle. And the game memory block total size stuff is all the same, I believe, and bytes read is here as well. I think that's all the same. Conversion to dword, right, well, actually, I guess bytes to read equals, this is probably the saner way to do this. We just cast it down and then verify that they are equal after the cast, right? So bytes to read, there we go. And same with bytes to write. Bytes to write. We'll go ahead and grab that total size there, dword. And assert that they are equal as well. Bytes to write. All right, so let's see if that does anything. All right, so my guy's down here. I'm going to start him in the corner. I'm going to hit the L key to start recording. And let's see. I do not know how long that's going to take. There's a bit of a pause there when you do it. This is a very slow hard drive, as you might imagine. And hey, look. That was it. Of course, we didn't actually loop properly. So that's not good. So we still have a bug. Why didn't we loop properly? Does anyone know? Does anyone already know why we didn't loop properly? Because we should have looped properly, but I don't actually think we did. It stopped when it got to the end, which it should not have. So I guess I still don't actually know if this ever happens, because it may be that it just returns 0 for bytes read. So I'm going to go into that playback input, and that's the only thing that didn't work. So I'm just going to go in there.
No idea how we did that. It all feels like a bit of magic.
And really quickly
better watch that again.
Just to see what's going on there. I'm so bad at Visual Studio, I never know how to just jump to a function. You know what, I'll just do it this way. Win32 playback input. There we go. So, all right, Win32 playback input. I go in here and I want to know, do you ever get there? Basically, that's what I want to know. L? No. So it's as I suspected. I think it, even if it doesn't read any bytes because it hits the end of the file, I think it just returns 0 in bytes read. So I'm going to go ahead and say that what we really needed to check was not that, right? We do the read file here. But what we need to check instead is if bytes read equals 0, then we try to do this. Now we could do that only if the read file succeeds. So if the file handle like isn't valid, we don't do it. So that might be better. So basically, when we get to the end of the stream, if the bytes read is 0, we've hit the end of the file and we'll restart it. So let me just see if that was the problem that we were having. So L, and then I will move us down to the corner, and then L again, and we'll see if we've got our looped edit working now. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So basically, that's it. We now have looped editing just working. I mean, it's kind of, when you actually see how simple it was to implement, it's kind of like, oh, duh, like, how come we're not always doing that? Because now you can literally do anything that you want, like anything that whatever you wanted to do to tune that jump code from before, I can just do, right? Because I can just go ahead and say, of course, I don't think I actually have a way to turn off the playback. I got to go actually add some real controls to this. But basically now, if I want to tune that jump, I can do that in a much more interesting way, right? I can go ahead and say, all right, let me set this up. Let me start the recording, right? I'll go ahead and do whatever the motion is that I want to do. So I'll go in here, I'll do the jump, and then I'll finish it, and I'll loop that, right? So now it's looping my jump, and I can kind of go ahead and say, all right, so now let's go ahead and edit the code for that jump until I'm satisfied with how it works. So I go in here and I say, all right, where was that code for the jump? Here's the code for the jump, right? First of all, it should go up and down again. So basically, the sine wave should at least go through a pi period, right? I would think. So basically, we want it to be like, I think I have a pi 32 defined, do I not? So I'll recompile that, right? And I think that should change the period of my sine wave in theory. No, that did nothing. Okay. This is actually working, is it not? Like, let's say I want to change the height of the jump. Let's find out if that works properly. There we go. So I've got a smaller jump. So I just didn't do this right. So the T jump, if it was doing pi 32, that should be one thing round. It should go up and back down again, shouldn't it? Unless I'm mistaken. So the T starts at 1. It gets subtracted down to 0. In theory, that should do it. Well, let's see what happens. Who knows? This is the whole point of this, I suppose, at some level. Oh, I know why. Because it's only adding. Right. It's only adding the actual. Right. So we actually do need it to go through the full state of the 2 pi. Oh man, this is the worst jump code that anyone's ever written in the history of mankind. I'm embarrassed to even. It's not even jump code. I don't even know what you want to call it. But there, at least now I've got him doing the jump, so that's good. And maybe we will also say, okay, let's actually make this jump go like that, and I'll recompile that and see how that's going. So there we go. There's that jump again. A little more reasonable. Maybe I want the jump to take a little bit longer. So if the T jump was more like 4, maybe? I don't know if that's actually going to do anything for me, but I'll try it. There we go. There's a longer jump, right? I guess at this point, since I basically finished everything I want to finish, I should probably try to actually write some jump code that isn't absolutely awful.
Okay, I think I can try to implement it. I'm not sure I fully understood how we got that to work. I'm just gonna watch the record in the game state again.
This game memory structure now just has to be part of this guy, right, of Win382 state, so that we can save and load it. So basically, if I just go in here and do something like this, so that the game memory's in there now, right, and then I say that the game memory is actually something off.
I think I might have fucked up a little bit. Don't really use the game memory, to be honest. Where's the game? I guess instead of like, I don't need to allocate it anymore. I guess I could just is this even necessary? Shouldn't game state be initialized at the same time? Maybe not. Let me check. Memory. Oh no, it's a slice. This is a pointer. It's probably feels redundant. What if I just remove this? Let me just comment this out. No address available. So I guess, excuse me, I could still just save game memory. Yeah, let's try. Hey Taras, are you in the US? No. I'm in Thailand. Why do you ask? Okay. Excuse me. Just curious, I was wondering if I can recruit you for trying one small product I'm working on right now. Is it the Git product that you're working on? Fair, I never really used the index. Well, you build in a physical product, Taras. You are a very enterprising young man. Okay. Yeah, it's good at least to use it to make stuff. What is it? Just curious. More like I do not enjoy doing anything else with my life, so it's a curse. I mean, it's not a bad curse, to be honest. You could be addicted to drugs. Product is circular to do. Interesting. But I still don't understand what it is. It's the thing that you put on your pencil. Yeah, okay. You can send it to my Discord. Yeah, I mean, I understand. This I can remove for now. Don't use it. Excuse me. UA. For the file name. Replace that with self dot file name. And then when I initialize, is that what it was called? HMH, yeah. I am doing something wrong here. Size of input, yeah, this is wrong. I think this would be game input. I allocate. No, I don't. I mean, I could just save it as a pointer. I need game memory. Excuse me. So as long as the game is running, it should be available. I think this can be a method here. This needs to be here. Build lib. Copy file. Game code changed. Yep. Game state. Oh no, there's no game state. X11 state. Same here. It's not X11. Oh yeah, it's fine. It's platform layer basically. Should be called Linux instead of X11. Let me rename this. In position, blah blah blah. I'm gonna rename this to read. Saved. Okay, now what I need to do is, instead of saving just the input, I need to save the state itself. So would return nothing. Yeah, don't need the input anymore. think when I initialize the state, I need to clear this file. Best of file. I can just set it to null, I think. No, I don't want to delete the file. File not found. Okay, this is write-only handle. Self.recording file. But write. Oh yeah, because it's can be null. Take the slice of constituent. Is that right? Okay, at least it's not the same matter. I'll check that again in a bit. Did I not set the game file name? Okay. Let's constituent and replace games state dot net hero to self dot file name. Playback index. Don't need that. Game input. and game memory. Okay. How do I initialize the input? I can move this down here. What is an empty pointer? It'll throw optional types. Well, then I have to make it. Do I want it to be optional? I'll just save it as global keyboard input. And then, no, this should be game input. Should be game state. It's no state memory. Is it? No, it doesn't. Yeah, that no longer exists. 216. It'd just be right next state. What did I call it? Yep. Then I need to fix the read as well. I need to change that name. That makes no sense either. It's okay for now. Expected 2 arguments from 1. Oh yeah, now I need to pass it the state itself. And I don't actually need that anymore. Just point to this. Where is the read? Why do I pass it the input? Oh, because they can write it too. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now when I write it, we need that. It just feels a bit weird. Let's see if that works though. Expected type, common Linux date, found const pointer. Read. I think I can make this same here. I think this can be. Alright, never mind. What do you mean it's not mutated? It's mutated right here. That's weird. 247. Okay, a moment of truth. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, start record. Okay, it doesn't work. Attempt to use null value. Oh, because I think it's because the way I'm clearing the file. Playback file dot get position. This won't work either, because it'll just append to the file. Let me get rid of that for now. Why does recording fail? Do I not initialize? I set the file name, yes. Both of these are null. $374. Why is it even trying to read the file? It doesn't need to be public anymore. If not recording. What was there before? Recording index equal to 0, make it true, should playback false. So if it's recording, okay, I think the rest looks right. Okay, works. And then now if I stop recording, why does it not play back? I think I know why. Should play back true. Okay, it's still reading from game memory. Then game memory equal to the game memory. And then game keyboard input. Should make this a pointer, would be much easier. Okay, anyway. So it should be game input. But this is a pointer. Does still work? Let's try to build it. And just be with the value. Yep, be good. Does that work? How do I do this? How did I do this before? Okay, so that's how I did it. What's the problem then? Cannot dereference non-pointer type. It's not a pointer. What if I did? Hang on, why don't I just take the value? Is it? Yeah. Unable to resolve comp time value. What is this type? It's common input. Types must be comp time known. I think I have to dot input. Why is the type not known? It is a pointer to an input. Okay, what if I just made this? I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work. Because as soon as I pass it, saved on the stack. Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, because that address no longer exists. Or I'd have to allocate it. Mix. I think those fields are necessary. What was the edit again? Com time, known. Yes, cloud. What's causing this error? When we reference a pointer at compile time, but the compiler needs type to be known at compile time. Dereference, which is likely a pointer, but it's not a type alias. Okay. There should be a runtime assignment, not compile time. Yeah. What is... Problem is that game input is already a pointer type, and you're trying to use star to dereference it, because I need the value. Yes, because keyboard input is value type. Dot star operator dereferences the pointer to the actual input. Okay, so I'm guessing so my dereference and what's the difference? I always get confused between the two. Okay, that worked. Alright, so I try to record. Move down. And right. Playback. Segmentation faulted. That's what I thought. That means I do need to through this. Dot allocate dot create. Own dot input. Fetch unreachable. Then here. I can just move this here. Equal to game input. Will that work? Should be allocator. Let's see if this works. Oh, I forgot to record. Switch on corrupt value. Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't expect it to work. Following command terminated unexpectedly. How do I use the playback? If you playback, read Linux state. Let me just clear the file. So it might have the previous state. Okay, no, that's not it. Does that mean the clear works? What's in the file? I can't read that gibberish. State. So game input equals. What's a game input? Oh, I know why. I think I'm still using it directly. Did I call it? Okay, global. Okay, and what about keyboard input? Okay, I don't need this anymore. No longer mutated. I don't think that still solved any problems. Okay, I failed even before. Hey Devnan, yeah. How you doing? What about me? Yeah, I think not bad. I'm just trying to get this. Why do I even need this anymore? I'm trying to trying to save the game state and trying to load it from file. I mean, there's it's one after the other usually. The Handmade Hero parkour. I like that. I mean, it's expected though, because all of this is quite new to me at least. So can I give it a default value? Does that build? Okay, it does. Then I don't need this anymore. How do I need that? Should be dot game input. What did I just press? I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, the problem is I don't know what the error is. The other files have succeeded, one failed. Oh, okay. Following build command failed with exit code 1. So I just got to see where I'm returning 1 without a debug statement. Print failed to load. That's it, really. It's a thread panic. Switch on corrupt value. I have no idea. Which times like these you miss the debugger? Right now I have no idea what's gone wrong. What can I do? Run transitive failure. Alright, let me just go through the code. I can see the window open, so that means I get quite far down. It's the first render, or around the first render. Or it could be the game memory. If I were to guess. Do I initialize the game memory? Wait, let me try the debugger. Maybe it works. Okay, if I were to guess problems here. Nothing happens. Weird. Yes. Why does it not run? Maybe it's not coming to this location and this. Oh, you mean it's. Oh, that's a good point, really. Oh, the debugger wasn't working either, so I don't know if it's like one of the. Still doesn't work. Okay, let's go all the way just to check. Alright, let's stop there. Am I pressing the right? Yep, no luck. I mean, it hasn't been working since I updated Zig. Well, maybe a few weeks ago. Yeah, it does compile. It just doesn't run. Well, it kind of runs, but switch on corrupts value. Okay, I can walk backwards. Let me just undo a little bit of stuff. try that. Now it redoes everything. Okay. I think that might be it. Okay. So it is the game memory. That's good to know. I think I know why. Because it's no longer a flat struct when I write to the file. Because previously I was writing input directly and game memory input directly, so it worked. Because when I call bytes as where's my read? Yeah, here. I don't know where I read it, but I read somewhere yesterday while I was looking at the source code. It says value. Actually, what I can do is instead of saving I can write them individually. Okay, let me try it. I'll just save the input for now. And get rid of these. Keyboard, yes. Okay. So game input. Now instead of right, game input, and when I read the value back, how big is the buffer? Should be input. Yeah, just ignore the game memory for now. No field named game input. Expect a type pointer. Can I do const cost? To 50. Hang on. What? Why did I do that? As bytes. Shouldn't this be a pointer? I still gotta fix that. Don't need that. This can go back to being const. I was so sure that was gonna work. Is the read file? No. That was just a guess. I think because when I write, I should write the value. Game input dot star. Access of union field pointer while field struct is active. Genetic function instantiated here. Access of union field pointer while field struct is active. What does that mean? Can I dereference it that way? Yep, that's what I guessed. Actually, how does this work? Pointer cast, align cast, pointer. Type info of pointer, assert pointer size 1, size pointer. Okay, it just gets the value anyways. Copy pointer attributes. So I think it just saves. Not sure. Time is it? I got time. No, I don't remember how I got it to work yesterday. I think I'm looking in the wrong place. That's not the error. Got no idea. I think it's a problem for tomorrow. I'm gonna call it a day there. It's funny how it takes like took me like 3 days to get to like halfway of one video. But I do think I'm doing something stupid. what I can do is I can reset to where it was yesterday and then save the game memory in a different file. I know, it feels like it doesn't feel right. Because then I'll have to like keep 2 sets of file handle. This could be okay. I think it's a problem for tomorrow. I'm not sure what's going wrong. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna call it today there. As always, thank you for hanging out. It sucks that it's not a positive ended. Something was working yesterday and it's not today. I guess that's part of the process. It's not a fun part, but it's what it is. Alright, hope you have a good day. I'll see you back here tomorrow for more misery.